doing aggressively and making sure that there are limits to how much housing can, speculators can buy up. And finally, about supporting childcare, which Americans have been talking about as a federal policy since literally the 1940s. So, these are not radical ideas. She has identified them as her one, as her one recent contribution. And the reason I say it's a bit of a burr under my saddle is because I don't believe the people who are asking for her policies are asking in good faith. I think they are looking for ways to attack her, to make the story of her momentum falter. And that would be fine if they were doing the same on the other side. And they are not. They are not asking for policies out of Trump. I mean, he has disavowed Project 2025, but nobody has asked how his own policies are different from that. And we know the people who wrote Project 2025 were his people. We know that he said, when they started to work, he said, this is going to be a great set of my policies. We know his own political action committee called Project 2025 Trump's Project 2025. So why is nobody asking him what his policies are? Furthermore, the other thing that again kind of bothers me is some of the policies that he has thrown out there that we just sort of assume. He says he's going to deport 15 million people. How? Like, literally, what does that look like? Because I don't see that happening without a significant militarization of this country. I don't see it happening without having militarized enforcement officers going into cities, going into towns, going house to house. Then how do you move those people? Like, what does that mean? How much is it going to cost? Are you going to put them on buses? Are you going to put them on planes? How are you going to get them to these places? This is one of those places where I think the media has permitted Trump to get away with sort of creating this worldview that his supporters really like. It's one based in hatred. It's one based in xenophobia. It's one based in this idea of dividing the country. But then they turn around and they look at the Democrats and say, we need you to be the adults in the room. So we want to take a look at your policies and pick them apart. And to her credit, Harris is not playing that game. She is running a campaign that says, if you want to know about my policies, look at what I've done for the last 3.5 years, which has been enormously successful. And I'm going to run my campaign on the opposite of Trump. This sort of, here's my policies, and she has had specifics, but we are going to bring the country together. And again, I'm 100% behind holding her to account for policies. I am never okay with holding one person to account and not holding the other. Because I think if you watch Trump these days and if you listen to what he is saying, he is completely off the rails. The man has lost it. And I don't say that lightly, because actually I'm one of those people who got Trump, not supported him, but I get that impressionistic play with the audience. I really do. My brain works not unlike that. He doesn't have that anymore. He makes absolutely no sense. He is consumed by anger and resentment. He is all over the map. He, on occasion, sounds drugged. At least something's going on there. These are all qualities that if somebody ran like this before 2016, if they had even gotten media attention, they would have been dismissed as a crank. And instead, people just seem to be looking the other way. That seems to me to be a huge disservice and a huge problem. Either we need to treat him like a presidential candidate, or we need to recognize that you can't hold Harris to real standards and not Trump. That seems to me to be a huge problem. Now, as far as Trump is concerned, I'm sorry, somebody just said that Trump only has Project 2025. That's not true. There's also Agenda 47, which is supposed to be put in places. You may look at all these things online. I always go to the American Presidency Project. It's free. You can go ahead and you can actually read these platforms. I will tell you, the Democratic platform will be very useful to historians because it really lays out, we did this, we did this, we did this, we did this. It's not an exciting read, but it's a very good roundup of what happened over the last 3 years.